Patanjali. So a very warm welcome to all of you to today's edition of Daily Wisdom from Bhagavad Gita session. I hope you're having a great start to your day. I had a wonderful day. Today we are going to talk about a very important topic related to, does God appear? Appearance means you can see him. When somebody appears, you can see him. And then does he disappear? Right? What does disappearance mean? And also we'll touch upon some of the concepts which are, you've kind of heard it, but not entirely clear about it, especially Om syllable. We'll touch a little bit about that as well today, just to put things in perspective around it as well. So again, a very warm welcome to all of you. I'm going to start sharing my screen and then we'll get started. Let me share my screen. Are you able to see it? Okay, great.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so we'll get started by invoking the blessings of God and Guru. Gurul Brahma, Gurul Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanurmardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Okay, Radhe Radhe again. Let's get started. So today we are in chapter 4, verse 6 today. And in conjunction with this shloka, I picked up another shloka, which will again help drive the discussion that we are going to have forward or reinforce the topic that we're going to talk about today. So I will recite it and you're welcome to follow along. We have 2 shlokas, so we have enough hands we can take today. Ajopi sanyavyayatma Bhutanamishwaropi san Prakratim swamadhisthaya Sambhavamyatma mayaya. All right, do we have any volunteers?
Yeah, I see multiple hands. Radhe Radhe, Ashutosh ji, please go.
Ashutosh.
Radhe. Ajopi sanna vyayatma bhutanamishwaropi san prakritim swamadhisthaya sambhavamyatma mayaya.
Nice, Ashutosh. Radhe Radhe.
Sandhya
Okay.
ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe. Ajopi sannavyayatma bhutanamishwaropi san prakritim swamadhisthaya sambhavamyatma mayaya.
Very nice. Thank you, Sandhya. I can take one more hand on this and then remaining on the next one.
Uday Kumar ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Yes, Radhe Radhe. Ajopi sanvyayatma bhutanam ishwaropi san prakritim swam adhishtaya sambhavamyatma mayaya. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Should I take more hands, more people can take recitation, or should we go ahead for the another?
Okay, so let me move to the next one and then remaining hands we can take for that. So in this shloka, Lord Krishna is saying, although I am unborn, so please take note of that, it's unborn, the Lord of all living entities, and have an imperishable nature, yet I appear in this world by virtue of Yogamaya, my divine power. He's very clearly saying that he's imperishable, and he's saying that he's the Lord of all imperishable, and he's unborn as well. But he's saying, yet I appear in this world. And how does he appear? By using his Yogamaya power, which we'll talk again a little bit. We'll keep on revising, refreshing some of the concepts as well, which is his divine power, his Atrangi, personal Shakti, Parashakti, that is the energy of God himself. So let's move on to the next shloka. This is one of my favorite shlokas. The date is not a good one to remember, 9/11, but the shloka is, okay. So I'll recite it and then you're welcome to follow along. Avajananti mamudha manushim tanumashritam parabhavam jananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. Okay, let's take a remaining hands for this one.
Dinesh ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe. Avajananti mamudha manusim tanumasritam parbhavamajananto mama bhuta maheswaram.
Very nice, Dinesh. Thank you. Radhe Radhe.
Prabhat ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe. Avajananti mamura manushim tanumashritam parabhavam jananto mam bhuta maheshwaram.
Nice, thank you. Radhe Radhe.
Sai Ram ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe. Avajananti mam mudha manushim tanumashritam param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram.
Very nice, Sai Ram ji. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Shyam ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe, Shyam ji.
Radhe Radhe. Avajananti mamudha manushim tanumashritam parbhavam jananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe, very nice. Thank you, Shyam ji.
Lakshmi ji, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe everyone. Avajananti mamudha manushintam tanumashritam param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram.
Wonderful.
Radhe
Radhe Radhe, very nice.
Sam ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe. Avajananti mamudha manushim tanum ashritam param bhavam ajananto mam bhuta maheshwaram. Radhe Radhe.
Shyam ji, Radhe Radhe. Okay, we'll freeze the hands. Last three we'll take.
Falguni ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe. Avajananti mam mudha manushim tanuashritam param bhavam ajananto mam bhuta maheshwaram. Radhe Radhe.
Thank you. Radhe Radhe.
Ragi ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Thank you, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Avajananti mamudha manushim tanumashritam parabhavam jananto mama bhuta maheshwaram.
Thank you, Riya ji. Oh, Ragi ji.
Ragi ji, yeah. Riya ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead. Thank you for waiting. Yeah, thank you.
Avajananti mamudha manushim tanumashritam param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Take maybe one more hand. Yes, Diva, go ahead.
Diva, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead. Diva ji.
Radhe Radhe. Avajananti mamudha manushim tanumashritam Param Bhavam Ajananto Mama Bhuta Maheshwaram.
Wonderful, Diva. Very nice. You've started reciting shlokas as well now. So keep practicing. Wonderful. All right. So let's get started. So this shloka, God is reinforcing what is being said in 4.6 as well. He's talking about his appearance through his Yogamaya Shakti. And here he's saying, when I descend in my personal form, like Manushim Tanum Ashritam basically, and he says, Mudha, he's used the word Mudha here. He says, deluded persons, they are unable to recognize me. They do not know the divinity of my personality as the supreme Lord of all beings. Okay, so he's very clearly saying that. Now, when I'm going to ask this question later, have you seen God? And if you say, no, we haven't seen, right? So let's keep that at the back of our mind. Okay, it's not very flattering to know that we might be those mudhas he's referring to, but keep that at the back of your mind. Okay. Nevertheless, let's get started. So today, let's talk about this concept again. Okay, we'll keep on refreshing this concept. It will keep coming here. So some people, they are more comfortable with the formless God. Right? God is formless, who is all-pervading, incorporeal, and subtle. Okay, this concept makes them very comfortable, because the moment this idea of God having a form and looking like us comes, it becomes a bit revolutionary, or something that very difficult for people to digest. How can God have a form, or we can see him like we see other people and stuff like that. So they are more comfortable with a very formless, subtle, abstract entity, right? If it's complicated, something that we cannot fathom, we become more comfortable with that. So yes, our scriptures are anyway saying that God is a formless God, right? He's formless and he's all-pervading. He's corporeal as well as subtle. So he's saying that that is very true, definitely true. So from that sense, there are two thoughts basically. Some people look at God as a formless light, all-pervading, which is what our scriptures are telling us, which is right. And some people worship Om as well, right? Especially the ones of Nirakar. Om syllable is regarded as it's called a primordial vibration anyways. Okay, so it has a great significance in our scriptures as well. And I'll explain a little bit today. In fact, I can do a session on Om itself, one of the days, right? Om syllable, why it is so significant, but I'll briefly touch upon it today. And this concept is perfectly fine. Okay, worshipping God as a formless or worshipping Om, they are both correct. Okay, I'll explain how. Now let's talk a little bit about Om today. So in Bhagavad, and then when it comes to God having a form, the mind revolts. A lot of people revolt at the very idea of God having or possessing a form. Okay. In fact, within Sanatana Dharma also, some people have even written commentaries that when God comes under the influence of Maya, then he comes, he wears a Manushi chola like Krishna or Ram, then he's not a God. He's under Maya at that point, because then he has to leave also. He has to close his pastimes. Okay, so that is the concept. We'll try to tackle that as well a little bit. So that is there. Okay. And when it comes to Om, if we go to Shloka chapter 7, verse 8, let's see what Lord Krishna is saying there. He's saying, Raso ham apsu kante prabhasmi shashi suryayo pranava sarva vedeshu shabda khe porusham nishu. Pranava is the syllable Om. So what does it mean? Basically, he's saying, I am the sacred syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. Okay, he's referring to, very clearly he's saying that. Now, why is he saying that? Let's try to understand that. So you need to wear your thinking caps on, and I will take you to a little bit of technicalities here so that you can understand and map it very clearly in your mind. Okay. We know who does the creation? Brahmaji. Right? So I'm going to take you back into some of the technicalities here. Where does Brahmaji originate from? the navel of Garbhodikshai Vishnu, right? Who's Garbhodikshai Vishnu? Planary expansion of Mahavishnu. Who's Mahavishnu? Planary expansion of Golok Vrindavan Vihari Krishna himself. Okay, so you understand that process. Now, when the creation is done, Brahmaji gets that knowledge, and you know how he goes about doing it? He creates the elements. How does the elements start? He starts by creating Akash, space. The first entity that is created is Akash, which gives you a sense of sound. I hope you are with me. I'm explaining you in a step-by-step manner. The first entity that is created is Akash. The second entity that is created through Akash by compression. If you compress Akash, I don't have the technology, nobody has. That's why Brahmaji is the topmost Jnani. He gets that knowledge from God himself. Okay. You compress Akash, the sense of feel comes in. Air is created. Okay. So the sense of sound, sense of feel has come. Then furthermore, he compresses air. The air is compressed. And through that comes, what does it come? Form, which is fire. You can see fire. This is the only pratyaksh element we can see basically, other than soil, of course. So fire comes, and that is why Agni ko Sakshi Manke and Agni ke around we do, you know, all the feras and everything. So then comes fire, which you can see. Then the compression of fire, the next element. Now sight has also come, the sense of sight. Fire is compressed, and then the next thing that comes is taste, which is water. Okay. Every taste that you get is through water only. If you don't have saliva in your mouth, you can't taste anything. So it is a compression of fire. And then further, when the water is compressed, what comes is soil or the mud. Okay, which is sense of smell has also come in now. Right? When the rain happens, we know how beautiful that smell is. A lot of people love that. Unfortunately, we don't get that too much here in US because so much of pesticides have been mixed in the soil now. So the sense of smell comes as well. So the Panch Mahabhuts are created like this. Now, if we started with sky. Sky is the medium for sound. Okay? And the primordial sound, the vibration is Om. Okay. Om is the primordial sound, and it is also called Anahat Nad. Anahat Nad means the unstruck sound. Typically, the sound is made in this world by striking two things. You strike two things and the sound will come. In this case, nothing. It is the primordial, primeval sound that is created. These letters, Om, this whole vibration, that is the first thing that happens. Okay. And if you look at all the languages in the world, or for all the mantras, they are the modification of that sound only. So when something is a primeval sound, it has a lot of significance, and through sound, and sound is termed as the energy of God. So it's the primordial energy of God. So through that energy, the other energies came, right? The energies of sights, feel, touch, and taste, and everything came out of that only. And that is why Om is very significant. So our Brahman, it is the base, this sound is the base for all the creation, because it all started with the sky. I hope you're able to understand, and that is the significance of Om for our universe. This is why this mantra is the Bij mantra. So many mantras start from Om as well. And every syllable, the original word is A-U-M. You know, if you hold your tongue, these are the only things you can pronounce. And when you do it properly, it vibrates your entire body. It starts from your Mooladhara chakra to your chest to your mind. So it vibrates your entire body. Right? There was a joke going around when Modi ji did that thali thing in Corona. That was the second sound in the universe after Om. Okay. So if your mind stills down, Om is the only vibration that there. But let's understand. So it is, even in Bible, it is said, first there was a word. The word was word with God, and the word was God. So Om syllable is God himself. And you know, that is the significance of Om. Now, having said that, let's understand, trace it back. Where does Om come from? Akash, right? That's the first vibration of God. Who created Akash? Brahmaji. Who created Brahmaji? Garbhodakshai Vishnu. Where does Garbhodakshai Vishnu come from? Vishnu's planetary expansion. who is Mahavishnu, planetary expansion of Golok Vrindavan Krishna. And then, where does Krishna get his Shakti from? Radharani, Shaktiman, Shakti Sambandh. So, Om is God. That's fine. We don't want to restrict it to that only. One of the manifestations of God during the time of creation, why restrict it to that only? Go even further, right? Directly. So that is how it goes basically. So hope you are able to understand this whole concept and not say that Om is or Nirakar itself is God itself. Okay, let's talk a little bit about Nirakar aspect as well now. And that is why God is saying here, I am the sacred syllable Om in the Vedic mantra. So all the Vedic mantras is the Bij mantra, right? Everything emanates from them. And there are so many mantras, it starts with Om anyways. But explicitly, and even if it's not explicitly said, every syllable, every word, every language has emanated from this, because these are the primeval, this is the primeval sound. And rest all are the modifications of this sound only. Hope that helps you understand Om now a little better. Now in this case, if you look at it, Nirakar aspect of it, yes, Nirakar. This is not live. So I've shown this multiple times. So if you look at it from distance, it seems like a light. But when you get closer to it, it is not light. Light. It is much bigger than that. So it is said that God's body, the effulgence from God's body is the Nirakar Brahman light that we see. Okay. And Gyanis, they just merge into that. And they think that is the end goal. But our scriptures tell us, there's when you get closer to this, that light has a full-blown body and pretty much everything, and it is made up of, not made up of Panch Mahabhut like our body is made up of. It is made up of Satchit Anand. Okay, it may seem like our body when they come, but it is not. It is still a very, it's not a corporeal body, so to say. Okay. So that is the whole concept. I hope you are able to understand Om now more, right? It is a primeval sound and it is created by Brahma. It is coming from Akash Tattva that is created because Akash is the medium for sound. And through sound, Akash, rest of the entities they follow, like air, fire, water, and soil. So this is the cause of all the things that actually result in this creation. We are all the derivatives of mud only. Okay, everything is a derivative of mud on this earth. Whether it's our body, whether it's the jewels that you are wearing, whether it is the food that you are eating, whether it is the building that you are living in, whether it is the gadget that you are using, everything is a derivative of mud, right? Silica, gemstones, everything. So everything is made up out of mud. Do we have any technology to create mud? We don't have it. We can do plus and minus to create stuff, but we do not have the technology to create mud, to create water, fire, air, Akash Tattva. And the basis of all that is syllable Om. And that is why Brahmand is also called the Om Brahmand. Okay. And that is the significance of the stature of this word. And in this shloka, God is saying in 7.8, I am the sacred Om in the Vedic mantras. And if you look at it, they trace it back. That is the first thing Brahmaji creates. Okay. So you can restrict it either to that, but if you go deeper, you can go all the way up to Brahma, to Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, to Mahavishnu, to Golok Vrindavan Vihari Krishna and his Yogamaya Shakti through which he descends personally, Radha Tattva. This is how the entire chain goes. Yes, I see one hand, Prashasti ji, and our Bhulok only. By the way, I saw your question. It's in our Bhulok he appears, if that is what you're going to ask, okay? And in so many Bhuloks he appears. So Bhulok only where God can appear in any of the lokas. But in Bhulok specifically, he appears, which is beneficial because only in Bhulok we have the ability to do Purusharth where we can do plus or minus in our karmas. In other lokas, we can only do withdrawals. We cannot add to our Purusharth, and that is why he comes in our Bhulok, manifests his Leelas and gives us a basis for devotion. Is that your question or you wanted to ask something else, Prashasti ji?
Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe. I wanted to add to that Om concept that you were explaining. So I attended one yoga camp months earlier. There they taught something else about Om, which really caught my attention. So the smallest sound that you can make is and the longest sound that you can make is like oh. So Om is basically a conjunction of the smallest and the biggest sound and everything in between.
That is perfectly. Yeah, no, thank you for sharing that. But regardless, even before we descend down to the level of what we can produce through our tongue, the fact still remains everything is emanated from the primeval vibration, which is Om, right? Whether we can recite, we can experiment around what all syllables we can do that, by holding our tongue. But the fact, again, we can interpret it different ways. But yeah, I think you brought in a good point there as well. But the fact still remains, it all emanates from Om. Because first the Akash Tattva was created by Brahmaji and the sound came. And through that, rest of the entities followed. And that is why this is considered as a sacred syllable. Because all the languages, all the alphabets, everything is a derivative or the modification of this primeval vibration only. Thank you so much for sharing that. All right. So moving on, light is also something which is not a complete understanding of God. And Om syllable, if you think that is right, but are we saying have we absolutely understood God? If we have understood, we have been worshipping on Om and light only. Yes and no in that case, right? Like Ramayana goes to the extent of saying, Tulsidas ji had said that Yoga Kuyoga योग कुयोग ज्ञान अज्ञानी जित नहीं राम prem pardhana. So basically he's saying that where you don't have love and devotion for God, that yoga is kuyog and that gyan is agyan. He is very extreme in stating that. So now if you are doing some practice, whether it is kriya yog, any kind of kundalini jagaran, or any kind of knowledge you are gaining, if the Ram Prem, which is basically the love and devotion for God, is absent, then he's saying that Yoga is Kuyog and that Gyan is Agyan. Okay, it is extreme, right? But it's trying to put it in perspective. So basically, devotion is the only way where you can have a complete realization of God when you get to the personal form of God, right? So this topic keeps on coming up, but never hurts to keep on realizing it. So if someone stipulates, because God is saying, I appear in this world, right? And I picked up that 4.6, he's saying, I appear in this world through my Yoga Maya power. Now, if we stimulate that God cannot have a form, it means that a person does not accept him as all powerful. Now, that argument itself will tell you that there's something missing here. We say God is all powerful, and on the other hand say, no, God cannot take a form. Now, how can we stipulate that? It's being very naive on our side. Do we say God is powerless when it comes to if he chooses to take on a form? So this is a little, self-defeating argument if we accept God as a all-powerful force. Then, or is it that God is saying, you know what? I don't have the power to manifest in a form, hence I am only a formless light. I have all the powers, but this power I miss. Sorry, I can't come in a formless. God is not stating that anywhere. For him to be perfect and complete, he must be having a personal and a formless aspect, which is what our scriptures are saying. Now, if we selectively pick a part of a scripture and focus on that, that is a different thing. And it happens, right? Like when Shankaracharya, he focused on the Aham Brahmasmi, I am God, the formless aspect of it only. But if you go deeper into that, or if you get the benefit of coming across a saint who can reconcile it for you, that it says it not only this, but also this. Okay. So you don't have to restrict yourself in that sense. And God is definitely incorporeal and formless. Does not mean he cannot simultaneously have a form as well. Okay, so that is the key concept. Now, definition of God itself says that one who is all present and all powerful, right? And since God is all powerful, he has the power to manifest in a form as well if he wishes, and that is how he descends. Like he's saying in Bhagavad Gita himself, right? How clearly can he say that? He's saying, I appear in this world through my Yoga Maya power. So let's move on. What does our other scriptures say? So Brihadraranyak Upanishad say, Dveva Brahmano Rupe Murtam Chaiva Amurtam Cha. So this scripture is basically saying Murtam Amurtam, both. God appears in both ways, as the formless Brahman and as the personal God. This is what this Upanishad is saying. They are both dimensions of his personality alone. We have some more references. Now in this one, which is this one, it is again in this Padma Puran states this, that Let's see about what he's saying. Where the Vedic scriptures state that God does not have a form, they imply. So when they are referring to it, that is why you need a saint to interpret the scriptures. If you're going to read it on your own, your mind will be a mess. You'll say this is contradicting, this just does not make sense. Okay. And it is truly like that. If you think about it, read it, you will come across the text and it will say this, and then something will say this, and you will be completely lost. And that is exactly what Kripaluji Maharaj did when he spoke at Kashi Vishwa Parishad with 500 scholars. He did the Khandan. He said he cut the Ramayana with Mahabharat, the Mahabharat with Bhagavatam, and the Bhagavatam with Bhagavad Gita, and Bhagavad Gita with some Upanishad, and that he cut everything with everything. And all the scholars who had spent their entire lifetime reading those scriptures, so-called scholars, they could not justify it. They said, yeah, we have to agree. Tark Sammat. Logically, he proved that our scriptures are they're contradictory. They're contradicting each other. Nobody could defend that. It's like when you debate for and against. He just said that and he proved it, and nobody could defend that. Even though they had spent their entire lifetimes, reading those scriptures. And they said, we thought we have got an Astik here who believes in God, and we've got an Astik here, and he's proving it. These scriptures are a farce, basically. And then he said, no, by the way, they are all right. And then he started reconciling it. So after doing the Khandan, he did the Mandan. He said, this is also right, and this is also right. Right. And he was beautifully able to reconcile it. That is why it's called Samanvyacharya, Nikhila Darshan. Long title that he has gotten. So the point here is, if you read scriptures on your own, or if you come across somebody who's scholarly but not realized, there's a good possibility you will end up messing up your intellect even further. Okay. So it's not so straightforward. That's why we need a guru and a realized one on this path, so that they can resolve it. And then your theory is at least clear when you progress. If your theory is all messed up, little bit of this, little bit of that, somebody said this, so this must be right. Somebody said that, that must be right. Then it's like walking like that drunkard who takes 5 steps forwards, 2 backwards, 3 here, 4 here, all over the place, right? Physics used to have that problem. I remember that, in an entrance, it would come, how much time it will take. So you can just calculate that. So this is how it goes. Let's move on. God's three.
There is a question. Should we take that question?
If it's in relation to what we have discussed, we can take that. It helps in driving the discussion. So sure.
Yeah, it is a question from Ajitji. Why God has created whole of this world?
Ajitji, did you not attend the session? We devoted a full session on that. Did you miss that session? I think you missed that session. So we have to catch up with everything now. Okay. Yeah. We really, as a group, we sat down and spoke. Maybe you planted that question, because of which we did that session, and then you skipped that session.
Okay, I think it was last week. Yeah.
Last week. Yeah. I think Friday. I'll put the recording out for you. But it always, let's see, recordings help. But if you do a live interaction, if you're sitting here, that has a different impact altogether. Yeah? You are thinking, and we have a collective vibration. I don't know which technology Zoom uses. It is able to transmit vibrations also. Okay. So it really helps when you are sitting here and we are collectively thinking through stuff and discussing that. But you catch up on the video. So let's keep it as a suspense for people, so that you can catch up on that video, and then we can have another discussion if need be. So let's move on. The 3 main energies, we can quickly do the recap. The Maya energy, which is what we are facing, the Jiva Shakti, we are the ones, and the Swarupa Shakti of God. This Swarupa Shakti is the Yoga Maya power through which God descends. So it should become like a back of your palm now, okay? This Brahma Jiv and Maya concept, and all the 3 Shaktis of God. The Swarupa Shakti has 3 aspects to it. Satchidanand. That is why when you come across this definition of God, God is Satchidanand. It is because of his Swarupa Shakti. Now, Sat Shakti is basically enabled by his Satchidanand, and Sandhini Shakti, which gives him the form. If Sandhini Shakti is latent, unmanifest, within the Sat part of it, then he becomes Nirakar Brahm. So Nirakar Brahm is where his Sandhini Shakti is kind of unmanifest. And then you have the Samvit Shakti, where God, that gives sweetness and friendliness to God. So all the Leelas, God does, the Chitta Shakti is manifesting this, all the pastimes of the Leelas when he takes on an avatar or descends on earth, when he appears on earth. And Anand Shakti is, thus Hladini Shakti is the cause of Anand Shakti. Now, important thing to note here is, a lot of people say, see, Gyani would merge, right? So they say, you guys in devotion, I have spoken to a lot of Gyanis, you play in Chitta and Anand because you want to experience bliss. You know, you, in order to experience bliss, you need Chitta. But when you simply merge into the Sat, right, then Chit and Anand aspect are automatically rolled into that. However, the hierarchy works a little differently. The Sat aspect, Satchidanand, actually, if you called God Chidanand, that is also a complete definition, because Sat merges into Chit. Okay, Chit is the cause for Sat, not the other way around. And Anand is a complete definition of God. So if your name is Anand, that means your name is God, because Anand is the supreme power of God. Anand is God, is Anand. God has Anand is not there, right? You have Ras and you have Gulla. And if you put Ras in the Gulla, it becomes Rasgulla. So that means Gulla was devoid of Ras. So God is not like that you put Anand in him. God is Anand. God is bliss. Okay, that is the definition of God. I don't know how would it feel to touch God when you know, if it is something bliss himself. Maybe it will get some kind of an electric shock or something like that, I don't know. But God is Anand. So Anand is the essence of God. And essence of Anand is his Hladini Shakti. Okay. Hladini Shakti is, and that is why divine bliss of God is called, it's the highest power of God. Okay. And that you get only when you worship personal form of God. If you think of God as formless, you worship God as Om, you will attain God realization. But have you gotten the divine bliss and divine love of God? No. That is something you will be devoid of unless you get the opportunity to serve in Dvait. Now, Dvait is a cord of bondage in material world. Same Dvait is a cause of the higher bliss after realization. Okay. So it's again the same example. If you are, would you like to be a honeybee who can relish honey? That is Dvait. So let's say honeybee has its own identity and it is relishing honey. That is one option. And the second is the honeybee has become honey itself. So moksha is like honeybee is becoming a honey itself. It's not an ordinary honey. It is also a realization of God. But honeybee tasting honey is a much sweeter realization. That is the difference between Brahmanand and Premanand. Okay. So that is how it goes. Yes, Sandhya, you had a question?
Radhe Radhe, please go ahead, Sandhya.
Yeah, so I get confused with this at times. So we are saying Sat aspect is enabling the form, right? So if we remove the Sat aspect, it is formless?
No. Sat Chit Anand will always remain, even in Brahman. But the Sandhini Shakti is unmanifest, because of which the form is not coming. So he's not manifesting his form in that. So it's not like the Brahman does not have Sat component to it. He still has Sat, but it is latent. See what I'm saying?
So if the Sat aspect is
Sandhini,
not...
such aspect is there, the Sandhini Shakti which enable form is latent. So the form is not manifest in that case.
So, okay, so basically Chidanand, in that is the Sandhini aspect latent?
In Chidanand, the Sandhini aspect is latent. Yeah, Chidanand is basically so if Chidanand would already encapsulate Sat, right?
That's what I'm trying to understand.
Anand itself encapsulate all three aspects of it. Okay. But when it is Satchit Anand, his form aspect, that Shakti which enables form is latent. Okay, that is not manifest. You remember that discussion we had on Brahman, Paramatma, that Shakti
Bhagwan, three forms.
And the Paramatma form, he has the form, but then he does not do Leelas. So that means that friendliness and all that aspect is probably missing. So that is how it goes. Those Shaktis are present in all the three forms, but they are latent. Right? It is not displayed. So formless does not display Leelas. Does it mean it does not, it does not have Anand? It does have. If you merge with formless, you will still get bliss. But the bliss that you get as when you worship as a form in a Dvait goes much deeper. Okay, so those some of the Shaktis, they remain latent in his Paramatma and his formless form. That's essentially what it means. All three have Satchidanand, but some of these Shaktis, they remain latent. Like a seed, it has so much of power, but it manifests over time when it becomes a banyan tree. But seed has that latent power and it manifests in due course of time. So similarly, God has all the powers in all the three forms of his manifestation, like water, vapor, and steam, like Paramatma, Brahman, and Bhagavan. In Bhagavan, he manifests everything. In other two, he hides, or the other two are latent, kind of a deal. Okay, we can talk more about it. I know it's a little technical, but let's understand for now that your realization and in any other form other than Bhagavan himself, which is when he appears on this earth, is, not as sweeter as it is when you interact with his personal form, kind of a deal. So which brings us to, I think I would like to have a couple of things today before we get into the discussion. Have you seen God? And what are some reasons make it difficult for fathom believe that God can have a form? These are the two questions I wanted to pose. If somebody wants to share, have you seen God? This is a very important one. And then I think we have a few announcements to make as well today, right? But we'll get to that. Maybe we can take a couple of hands on this one. Yes, I saw Himanshu or Rahul.
Yeah, Rahul ji.
Yeah.
I saw a couple of, okay. Now I don't see any. Sandhya ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Oh, they have both raised. I mean, if no one else was speaking, then I would. Otherwise, they can, I think, go ahead.
Yeah,
okay. Catalyst. Okay, so let's hear from Himanshu raised his hand. And
yes, let's start with Himanshu ji first. Radhe Radhe, Himanshu ji, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe. So I raised hand for the earlier part for the question related to Satchidanand. So I think that the point is that even though we are describing Sat, Chit, and Anand individually, but they are actually the complete integral reality. So we are actually talking about Sat Anand and Chit Anand, basically telling that neither Sat nor Chit is devoid of bliss. They are always in bliss. So that is, I think,
yeah, that's true. Very true. Yes, you're right. Thank you for bringing that, Himanshu. All I was trying to say is basically trying to put it in perspective that, the Anand itself is a complete definition of God. It encapsulates both of those, and everything has everything in it. It's just that some of the things are latent, right? That Anand is there even in Brahman, but is it the highest level of Anand that you can get, when it comes from Brahmanand to Premanand? No, Anand is there, but some of the things are still latent in that, right? God is not giving you an opportunity to serve him. You cannot get the personal bliss of God in his formless aspect part of it. But yes, Anand is there in all the three because it's a Swarupa Shakti, right? End of the day. And even though it might be latent, but Brahman is not an ordinary bliss that we are talking about, right? When we talk about that honey, it's not an ordinary honey. Thank you, Himanshu, for putting it in perspective. Yes.
Yes, Rahulji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe. I think going back to the question on that slide, that we have seen God, but we couldn't perceive him as God with our material eyes. And whatever guna was dominant at that time, we thought, okay, this is our Thakur, this Chaliya, but many other names, whatever, so many objectives are there. But yeah, perceive it with our material. We need the divine vision to actually see it.
True. Very true. And a level of purity, so to say. And we have had infinite lifetimes, right? We have existed ever since God has existed. And God has given us opportunity to see multiple times. But we would have used our intellect to say, you know what, this guy certainly looks competent, but God, definitely not. Or maybe he said, this definitely cannot be God. So we have seen it. All of us have seen it in some form or manner, but we have not been able to perceive as yet. And we can't even perceive a saint. So how can we perceive God when he descends down in his personal form? All right. I see a new hand today. A new face too also today. Yes, Sarnima, go ahead.
Please go ahead. Radhe Radhe Arinima ji. Let me unmute you. Sorry. Yeah. Yes.
Radhe
Please go ahead.
Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Third on the number, but thank you. Yeah, on the two questions, first, have you seen God? I just wanted to share my experience before meeting Swamiji. I always used to feel that there are many moments in life there where we feel that there is a supreme power who is helping us in different aspects. Like, you're stuck somewhere and somebody will come and help you at that moment. And second part, I thought before meeting Swamiji, maybe that is the reason, because we feel something is there, so we perceive him as a formless, not as a form. Without the grace of God, not able to understand that there is a form of God whom we can meet and share our relationships.
Interesting. It's a pretty interesting perspective. So maybe Pallaviji, you can build on that. Can you share your experience? I think you wanted to share that as well, right, today? So we'll take a segue
Yes.
to hear it out from you in that case.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you, Arinima ji. Beautifully expressed. So yes, I did want to share that I got opportunity this year again. It was like blessed to be in divine presence of Swamiji. Since last couple of years, I have been trying to be there in Connecticut. It's about 1.5 hours of drive from my home, which is not that bad. And the place where I got to be in the divine presence of Swamiji. So that was something that was extremely special. And the entire day, it was not only that I had lunch with Swamiji, then a lot of conversations, and then I attended the evening discourses. Swamiji did give me signed his autographed book, and the next morning we went to the devotee's home and did see off to him. And that time he had a very personalized blessings for each one of us. That was very, very special for me. And it's interesting when he talked to me about what seva, what classes I have been doing. And I got chance to talk to him about daily wisdom class. And not only that, it was like, what is the portal? Then I showed him what is the portal, what we do in the portal, and what is our CIC interactive WhatsApp group, and all small things and all big things. So it was such a blissful state to be. Like, it was amazing. It was simply amazing, and I can't wait to see him again. So
beautiful. Thank you for so nicely articulating. So sweet. I mean, your excitement and what you felt is so palpable the way you explained. So thank you for sharing that.
one more thing I wanted to say. Swamiji did notice that color of my sari matches with his outfit, and he did mention to me that. I was like, okay, you made my day.
Don't tell me that it was purely coincidental and not at all intentional, okay?
It was kind of, because how I thought to wear that color of sari that day. So
very nice. I think now the people have even more incentive to go on CIC portal because it's blessed by Swamiji now. Okay, he may come in and see your points and may even I don't know. I mean, he'll go that far, but please do come now. It has been blessed by Swamiji, so please actively participate on the threads and take advantage of all the rich content that we have out there. But thank you for sharing that, Pallaviji. Yes.
Yeah, it's an amazing experience, and such great.
Different people have different, they just flow with a lot of emotions when Swamiji is in front of them. A lot of people, they simply cry. Some are in awe of him, his aura and stuff like that. So yeah, something, God turns a bit of a key from inside when you are in front of him. So we've been fortunate to have his association in an informal settings, when he started off coming here. But yeah, his Aishwarya thing, Chintan comes, when you see him in those grand settings and stuff like that. But yeah, he's very approachable. he takes care of everybody personally, especially if you're associated
Yeah,
with him.
he passed on the laddus to me. Yeah.
Oh, nice, Steve. And you ate it by yourself?
Yeah, in dining table, he was passing on all the stuff to everyone, which was like awesome.
Very
Yeah.
nice. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Great. Have you seen quite a few?
There are a
We
lot
want
of
to,
hand raised, so yeah, we can.
and I think just stay
alternate.
back. Today, Sandhya is going to tell you something that is going to change your life forever. Okay, something
Yes.
related. Very
Yeah.
colorful board she's going to show, and then the next assignment coming for our Seva teams. Okay, so gear up, please. We're going to create some excitement around it and something that you guys can look forward to. To captains, please take note. Don't leave and don't let your team members leave, okay, until we make those announcements. But let's take a few hands in the meantime.
Yes, Falguniji, please go ahead.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe. This is with respect to the first question, have we seen God? I just want to share something that I read in Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. So Swami Vivekananda asked him that, have you seen God? So Ramakrishna answers and says that, yes, I have seen God like how I see you. So I just wanted to share that, So of course, we have not reached that stage, but still like it gives us faith that maybe sometime, not in this life or maybe next life, we might be able to see God. Radhe Radhe.
Very true. Thank you for sharing that, Falguniji. In fact, it is said that if you have to ask something, one of the things that is worth asking from God is for his darshan. Give me your darshan. We keep on ending for material things. If there is something to be worth asking, it is one of the things. This is darshan, and of course, is bhakti. And darshan is a good thing. I want to see you. Build. If you build that, what do you call that? Desperation. It's a good desperation to build that. I really want to meet you. So yeah.
Animaji, please go ahead. Radhe Radhe.
She got a chance once. I think we have new hands too, right?
Yeah, sorry, I have to. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, do you have something?
No, I don't have more.
Okay. No worries. Thank you. Prabhaji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. So as we all know that there is no difference between God and Guru. So in form of Guru, we have already seen God. And along with that, during Root Dhyan also, we are able to see the God. And but I'm unable to give answer of this second question because I'm not lying with it. That it is difficult to believe that God can have a form, because I believe that God is having the form, and so in that case, I am unable to find out any reason for that. That how it can be difficult.
I think it's a good problem to have if the second question you're not able to relate to. Very true. It is more for people who still have difficult time coming to grips with the fact that God can have a form. So it's a good problem to have. Thank you for sharing that, Prabhat. Very nice. Yep. And we have seen Krishna Ram multiple times. All of us have seen that, but we were not able to understand their divinity, right? And so we fall into that category of avajananti ma mudha, right? That when manushim tanum ashritam, so we are like those mudhas, whether we like it or not, where we couldn't understand, right? Because if to perceive his divinity, we need to carry a certain level of purity ourselves, and then we can perceive his divinity. There's an automatic, instant, spontaneous attraction that you would feel when you are pure and something pure is right in front of you. Okay, let's hear. 3 more hands are there.
Yes, Dhyasinichi, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe. Yes, I have one question. So basically, God can take any form, even any human, like whoever we know, like we have heard from those leelas that God have taken on a form of a servant and serving the devotee. So, for example, in any case, the devotee is not able to understand, God is not able to understand that he is God. So is it possible that God at that point of time wants to, tease him and take him to different path to check the faith? For example, he can be atheist. He can just act like an atheist person. Is it possible?
I don't know. God does Leela. See, anything that God does, right? In 4.9, we will come. This say Janma Karma Chame Divyam, he says. That means anything that God or saints do, it's born out of Kripa. They're not doing anything for themselves. So whatever activity they do, it has a purpose. It has a divine purpose, and divine purpose is to welfare or to help others. So there is, right, Lord Shiva became a servant of, I think, one devotee in southern India and kept on serving him for so many years. That's a story I'll bring in one of the sessions. So God does those kind of things. Why he does, only he knows, and he relishes serving his devotee. Okay, he's not the like a typical master that Jiver Swarup Hoy Nitya Krishna Das, Krishna Das, that okay, your constitutional position is that of being my servant, so keep serving me. He loves to serve you. But then first you have to prove you are willing to serve him, right? So yes, so quite possible. Dhyashini, to your question, that whatever God and saints do, it is for the welfare of us. So that could be any of the Leelas. He may be behaving in a contradictory manner as opposed to what you are used to seeing in the world, right? So maybe possible. He only knows what is the divine purpose behind his Leela. Thank you. Seema, next.
Yeah, thank you, Dhyasani.
And then we have Meenuji's bhajan coming up, by the way, later today after Sandhya's announcement. If we get time, I think we run out of time, but we'll do the announcements and bhajan both today.
Yeah,
Meenuji,
should we let Sandhya ji make the announcements?
Yeah, we can take Seema quickly and then we can make the announcement.
Yes. Seema ji, please go ahead. Radhe
Radhe Radhe, Radhe Radhe Bhaiya. Bhaiya, so quick question. I have seen God, but in my dream, and I definitely don't remember his face. So does that mean that I've met God?
Yeah, I mean, if you have a conviction that you met God, then that might be one of the way he chooses to see you. I mean, reveal himself to you. So yes, you can say that you have seen God in that case.
But he did not talk to me, Bhaiya.
Talk to you, then you have to work harder, okay, next time, so that he starts talking as well, and even harder so that he wakes you up and says, hey, pinch yourself, it's me only. So a little more hard work is needed, I think, to take it to the next step in that case.
Okay, Bhaiya. And he was, as in my sister Monica Di, she was standing right next to him, and he did not even speak to her also.
Okay, then you both didn't speak to her as well. Okay, so even harder to speak to him, and more harder where he'll wake you up, and even more harder where he'll say, here is my Nandi, can you get back on that as well along with me? Okay, so different levels.
Okay, Bhaiya. And Bhaiya, one last thing. So I think that devotee's name, the story which you were just explaining, that his name was Vidyapati, right?
Vidyapati, he was serving. Yeah.
Okay.
And right now, one day his wife picked up fight with him, and then he had to reveal, basically. He had taken a promise from him that you're not going to reveal, and he revealed, and then it's a beautiful story, I know. And
It's a
God was
beautiful story.
as a servant for so many years,
Mhm.
Thank you, Seema. Yeah, we'll bring that story as well, when we talk about devotion and all stuff. But thank you for calling that out. Let's make the announcements and then we'll pick up the remaining hands.
Thank you, Bhaiya. Radhe Radhe.
Thank you. Yes, Sandhya, go ahead.
Yes,
So today
Sandhya,
we're going to
please go
talk
ahead.
about
Yes.
our Seva dashboard. See, our Seva teams, SEVA, right? They have been doing some work at the backdrop, and they did a fantastic job, on the video Seva and all. We'll share the dashboard and encourage people to join these teams. And then we have lined up a new thing that we're going to talk about a little bit. So let's look at the dashboard, Sandhya. We'll socialize it periodically going forward. I know we haven't spoken about it for a while. We are just too busy in our discussions, but now we'll do that periodically, as well as talk about the new stuff that is coming up. So we have selfless team, S, enthusiastic team, Vinamra team, and what is the fourth one?
Ananya.
Ananya team. Okay, I myself forgot. These are the 4 teams. Go ahead, Sandhya. What do you want to share?
So first of all, I just wanted to, like you mentioned, we have Seva teams, and all the teams, all the members are supposed to fill this Google form. This started 10 days back, and lots of people have already started filling it very enthusiastically, where you basically, put in whatever sevas you're doing, and then automatically this goes on to the Tableau, which Sri Ramya ji has created wonderfully. So I'll just open that tab now.
So Shri Ramya has done some NASA stuff, real rocket science kind of a thing she has done to create a beautiful dashboard. Okay, that is what you need to really see that, and it beautifully captures the progress of all the teams and individuals who are putting in efforts behind the scenes, like, share, comments, and documenting stuff from the video. It's a beautiful seva to get involved in. And now she has created some kind of a dashboard. So let's quickly talk about that and then the seva that we have planned for Sandhya.
Yeah, so best thing is that it automatically gets updated. So if you fill this Google form, the date and time, every timestamp, everything gets recorded, and we get this histogram of everyone's scores basically. And as you can see, this started on 27th May, today is 7th June, and we have it updated till today. And
the team is like, oh my God, and Anita ji is leading the pack. So something is going on there.
This is the game changer. Sharing of the information and the Instagram posts, the class announcements. Anita ji is really doing awesome in that. And that has led Ananya team being the winner for these 10 days
maybe you come and give us a quick 5-minute demo on what makes you score so heavily. It's like you are the Don Bradman of Seva team. Okay, maybe you can share that with other teams and they can pick up some tips from you. And Shyamji is like looking, is it really my team? Shyamji, you need to buck up your team now. And Shefali, Samji, and Shyamji, and also let's pull up our socks and get that going. A Manthan Seva, how is it going? So by the way, the Manthan Seva, you want me to talk about that, Sandhya?
Yes, so we have a Manthan Seva. I can simply show the screen as well, where we have assigned YouTube videos to everyone, and they're going through the videos and they are writing down the stories. They're basically documenting the stories that Swamiji has talked about. And that way we are having a wholesome documentation of all the examples, stories, powerful, like verses. For example, Rakhe Krishna Mare Krishna Rakhe Ke, and so on and so forth. So beautiful. Yes, some of the teams are very actively working on it. Some of them are not. And I guess the purpose of today's conversation is that everybody gets geared up and get back to it. And we have a new assignment coming up for everybody. So as part of this Manthan Seva, we have been coming up with the story. We have been basically documenting the stories, and all the 4 teams gave their presentations earlier. So the idea is to come up with a follow-up presentation, which includes the new stories that you have documented and learned from Swamiji's videos. So basically your new presentations will be aligned on the same themes. For example, Shyamji's team will give a presentation on selfless topic only, but that will include more content from the YouTube videos that you watched recently. And similarly for rest of the teams. And Nitinji, you can add if I haven't made myself very clear.
Yeah, so the idea is to build on what you have been learning as part of doing this seva. So if you bring in content like, selfless content or Ananya, Vinamra, Swamiji gives a whole range of examples and analogies and stories. So the more you bring in to the presentation, the more, but we don't want to restrict it to that alone. The idea is to deepen your understanding about the team name that you carry. So if I am in Ananya team, I will focus on Ananyata aspect that Swamiji calls out, all the story stuff, bring in, package that presentation, build on where you left off last time around, and creativity, the impact, and how you gel as present as a team, all those factors will come into place. And this time we will have clear demarcation. Last time all the teams did well, but this time we are going to differentiate high achievers from achievers and better achievers, kind of a deals. So look out for that. We'll probably give you 2 weeks. Any questions you can reach out to.
We have 2 weeks deadline from now, and then we will have spin the wheel and assign the order accordingly.
Spin the wheel and assign the order. I don't know, coming first or coming last, okay, which is better, but gear up for that. And I'll tell you, it's a win-win seva in the sense that when you do the Tattva Gyan Manthan, you go through the videos, the knowledge sinks in deeper, because you're contemplating upon it. And when you teach something, you learn anyways, right? So look at it that way. It's a good opportunity, and get your thinking caps on, line up as well, and let's infuse some enthusiasm back into the teams to get this going. All right. Cool. All the best to all the teams, all the captains. We'll talk more. But I think it's very clear, right? If you have any questions, you can reach out to us. And if you want to join any of the teams, do let us know. We have wonderful teams. A lot of work is going on behind the scenes, but we can always infuse some more enthusiasm around it as well.
Yeah, fill in the feedback tracker if you want to join any of the teams.
Yes, please put in the feedback tracker if you want to join any of the teams or want to know anything more about the Seva initiative that we have done. It's a good way to do your Guru Seva and get return something, give back something in return for what we are getting. Yes, Shyamji, you wanted to say something? Meenuji, next is you after Shyamji. Okay, we move into the devotional segment immediately after Shyamji.
Yes, Shyamji.
अभी मैंने देखा मेरा स्कोर ट्रैकर उल्टा चल रहा है, SEVA S नीचे से शुरू हो रहा है, अच्छी बात है वो, बट व्हाट डू वी डू व्हेन पीपल, हमारा ग्रुप छोड़ दिया लोगों ने, मैं देख रहा हूँ कि हमारे ग्रुप में जो लोग हैं वो सब जवान है, अदर वे राउंड, एंड जो बाकी लोग ग्रुप से पीपल है वे आर जवान फ्रॉम द राइट साइड, एंड जो मेरे पिलर थे वो तो गायब हो गए हैं. दयासिनी, शी हैज लेफ्ट अस बिटवीन, भाग गई वो तो हमारे छोड़ के. और आप बोलते हैं कि पीपल जॉइन द ग्रुप, नोबडी जॉइन्स द ग्रुप. एज यू हैड मेड कैप्टन्स अपने हिसाब से, तो वी हैव 80 पीपल आउट हियर, तो व्हाई कांट यू टेल देम टू जॉइन सर्टेन ग्रुप्स एंड फोर्स देम टू डू सेवा. और जो आपने बनाया है, मैंने इसमें कुछ ट्राई किया नहीं अब तक, तो आई हैड नो क्लू. मैं तो 40 पे खड़ा हूँ अब तक. SEVA, it is AVES. I'm okay. I'm the first and the last, but still, how do we enforce, force, request, plead, join the groups and do seva? Because we all are busy in our lives. We all know that. We have to take our time for seva.
Shyamji, just imagine if you are struggling to manage 4 or 5 people, how difficult job of Swamiji will be, who has such a big task force in this world. So something.
Swamiji, भाई कैसी बातें कर रहे हो आप? जिस प्रकार से कृष्णा है, शाम है, अब मुझको टू रीच आउट टिल योर लेवल, टिल स्वामीजी एंड कृष्णा, मैं तो करूंगा नहीं कभी ये काम. आई एम हैप्पी द वे आई एम. यहाँ पर हूँ मैं, ठीक हूँ.
First of all, you are single man army. Secondly, we will get you people. I have already seen one of the person who is saying, okay, I'll do it. Okay, she has put her hand like this. Who is she? Okay, it's Shefali. Okay. You already
शेफाली तो सगी बहन है संध्या की, वो कुछ काम नहीं करती. शेफाली, आर यू देयर? कैन यू हियर मी? शी इज ऑलवेज विद संध्या. हमारे साथ एक दिन बनाया जितिन भाई. Whenever there was never no group, she was always making reels and all stuff. The moment she joined selfless group, she is not there at all. कभी घूम रही है, कभी बीमार है, कभी काम करके पढ़ाई कर रही है. This is not fair. So I need to have people who are selfless in true sense.
Okay.
And who do seva in true sense. Monica ji,
we will infuse some enthusiasm to you. We'll talk to people so that you get the required help. But let's get that good. I'm sure you'll get it. See, first time bhi ho gaya tha, so just stay patient. We will get people and get this activity going.
मैं तो कर लूँगा भाई, चिंता मत कीजिए आप. मैं अकेला ही काफी हूँ. Krishna is with me. I do not want anybody, but I want people to be with me.
And I look forward to meeting you in Palampur, okay, one of these days, and we can talk more about it. Yeah.
अरे वाह. When do I come?
21 तक हूँ मैं, उससे पहले कभी भी आ सकते हैं. Okay.
आपने तो 28 कहा था मुझे पहले.
नहीं, 28 से तो इंडिया से have to take off ना, so in between I have to leave.
As you say.
Let's talk more. तब तक अगर if there's no activity, let's talk more in person around it. Okay. Okay. I'm already seeing smiles around, so a lot of people are either going to join you or they're going to take your lead. Okay. So I think you fix your problem yourself today. Okay. Yes, Monica ji, you wanted to add something, and Meenu ji. Definitely after this, we start into a devotional segment. And Meenu ji, I'm really looking forward to your bhajan today. Yes, Monica ji, you wanted to compliment what Shyamji said today?
I think he spoke my heart. But then I have better team, to be honest. जितना उन्होंने बोला उससे तो अच्छी टीम है मेरी, बहुत अच्छी टीम है मेरी actually. It's just that थोड़ी सी active नहीं है. I'll speak to them, हो जाएगी. But then Nitin ji, do we also have points for something that we do? जैसे कोई ड्रामा कर रहे हैं, कोई लीला कर रहे हैं मंदिर में, राइट? बिकॉज टाइम लोगों के पास में उतना ही होता है. सो ईदर यू आर देयर.
So I agree. Any activity that you carry out which requires time commitment, you will get credits for that. Okay, so let's work out on that model. So
in the creative content creation, you can
creative content creation. If you're doing leela and stuff, yes, we should
drama
add
is that, right? So that is something.
Those are like in-person seva, right? You spend time there. In fact, वहाँ ज़्यादा time जाता है because you coordinate with people, make them.
That should be perfectly okay. Yes, yes, yes. Any seva that you are doing?
मोनिका जी करेंगे, no worries.
We
सब
can-
count करेंगे.
Okay, we'll continue this debate. Let's take Meenuji and then we'll do Shri Ramya and Shyamji will come back. We'll continue this discussion. I don't want to hold up Meenuji. She has
Yeah.
prepared a beautiful bhajan. Let's hear her and then we can continue this discussion. Shri Ramya, Dhyashini will come back and Shyamji. I think it's a good discussion which might take a little few more minutes. But over to you, Meenuji, for the devotional. You're welcome to stay back.
Yes.
Get into our devotional segment. So Meenuji, all yours.
Radhe Radhe Meenuji.
Radhe Radhe.
It is a bit of an Akashvani, Meenuji. You have two devices?
Okay, should I let me?
Now it's fine. Now it's fine. Now it's fine.
It's fine now.
Yes, now it is fine.
Okay. Radhe Radhe. I dedicate this Punjabi Kirtan to the lotus feet of Hari Guruji.
Please.
मेरे सतगुरु पीरा दे पीर जिन्हों ने प्रेम रस दिया जी मेरे सतगुरु पीरा दे पीर जिन्हों ने प्रेम रस दिया जी बारों शहनशाह अंदरों फकीर जिन्हों ने प्रेम रस दिया जी बारों शहनशाह अंदरों फकीर जिन्हों ने प्रेम रस दिया जी मैं मेरे विच बड़ा दुख पाया जी मैं मेरे विच बड़ा दुख पाया जी देखे ज्ञान अज्ञान नु मिटाया जी पर्दा माया दा कीता लीरोंदी जिन्हां ने प्रेम रस दिया जी मेरे सतगुरु पीरां दे पीर जिन्हां ने प्रेम रस दिया जी बड़े भागा नाल सतगुरु पाया जी बड़े भागा नाल सतगुरु पाया जी धन सेवा विच लाया जी धन सेवा विच लाया जी मन जाए बिगड़ी तकदीर जिन्हां ने प्रेम रस दिया जी बन जाए बिगड़ी तकदीर जिन्हां ने प्रेम रस दिया जी मेरे सतगुरु पीरां दे पीर जिन्हां ने प्रेम रस दिया जी पत्थर दिलां विच प्रेम जगाया जी पत्थर दिलां विच प्रेम जगाया जी राधे नाम रस सबनू पिलाया जी बहे अखां विचों प्रेम दा नीर जिन्हां ने प्रेम रस दिया जी मेरे सतगुरु पीरां दे पीर जिन्हां ने प्रेम रस दिया जी हरि बोल 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 हरि बोल
Thank you, Meenuji. I don't have any words. I mean, just pure thanks for bringing this bhajan to our session. So thank you so much. Pure bhav and pure bliss is all I can say. And I think you might have inspired my mother also to sing on one of the days. Okay, one of the Punjabi bhajans. I think she can sing as well. But I loved it. A lot of people, I think they must be feeling something teary right now. But very nice, Meenuji. Yes, anybody wants to say anything other than hearts? Of course, a lot of hearts your way, Meenuji. Thank you so much. All right.
Thank
Do
you,
we have-
Menuji. So blissful, so blissful. So much power. Thank you so much, Menuji, for singing the bhajan.
Yes, Neeluji, we are
Yes.
fortunate to have you sing a bhajan in our session. So it's our privilege and honor to do that. So thank you so much. Please do keep doing it from time to time for us. Always a privilege. Thank you so much. Okay, we have 3 more hands. Pallaviji, you always get late. We can take it.
Yes, that's the opportunity that I get to be part of such a beautiful devotional section.
All right. So let's take 3 more hands and then we'll wrap it up.
Yes. Deyasiniji, Radhe Radhe.
I have.
Yes. You
Radhe
want to
Radhe.
share,
I want,
Deyasiniji?
yes. I want to share.
Okay.
Sure.
Please go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. I don't see the. Okay. Now I see. Is the screen visible?
Yes.
So this is again the Maharaji's bhajan. Nirmohiya so neha lagaye हाय मैं लुट गई. Okay. निर्मोहिया so neha.
Dyashini, I think your voice, when it went into a higher pitch, Zoom did not cooperate. So you may have to fix your audio, otherwise we'll not be able to hear you. Okay. Dyashini, you there?
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Yeah, now you're audible.
Okay. निर्मोहिया सोने लगाए हाय रे मैं लुट गई रे. निर्मोहिया सोने लगाए हाय रे मैं लुट गई रे. एक दिन अली इकली. Just 1 second. This I don't know why is it okay. एक दिन अली इकली जाती रही बेचन बरसाने गाँव दही. एक दिन अली इकली जाती रही बेचन बरसाने गाँव दही. मगन पटल कुटिली आई हाय रे मैं लुट गई रे. मगन पटल कुटिली आई हाय रे मैं लुट गई रे. बोलियो अली लखो यह कुंज गली. बोलियो अली लखो यह कुंज गली. ही हूँ इकलो तो ही इकली. ही हूँ इकलो तो ही इकली. मिली एक दो जाए हाय रे मैं लुट गई रे. मिली एक दो जाए हाय रे मैं लुट गई रे. हो डाटी कहीं लंपट चल हट. हो डाटी कहीं लंपट चल हट. आवत पति पाछे हिले लट झट. आवत पति पाछे हिले लट झट. दोहेला राधे. दोहेला अवनी फल पाए हाय रे मैं लुट गई रे. दोहेला अवनी फल पाए हाय रे मैं लुट गई रे. बोलियो अब तोन्हें अपनी कर ली, बोलियो अब तोन्हें अपनी कर ली, पिटवाए चाहे अपनाए, पिटवाए चाहे अपना. Sorry, I lost the tone. Okay. So it's a very beautiful actually bhajan. Actually, I heard it yesterday only, so that's why I'm just like lost it. Okay. Thank you. Radhe Radhe.
You, Dayashini, we would have taken it to a
Okay,
end of the story. Would have loved to hear that. Maybe next time you can complete that. But beautiful bhajan and beautifully
yes,
sung.
I can just read it out then. Just a few lines
Let
are
it be a
only there.
let it be a suspense until you sing it. Okay.
Okay, sure.
More
How do
incentive
I
for us to hear
stop
you.
sharing?
More
How do I
incentive
stop?
for us to hear you next time. Okay. You complete it. Okay. Leave it like an intermission, and the rest of the story will continue. Thank you so much. Beautiful bhajan and
Yeah,
a beautiful
thank you so
Leela.
much, Dayasini.
Leela
Beautifully,
as
beautiful.
well.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
she's actually telling Jagatpati to be scared of her pati. Okay, so we'll see what
Mhm.
happens next.
Yeah, beautiful
Okay.
Leela. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yes, Sandhya. So Pallaviji, last hand for the day, I guess, today.
Yes, Sandhya ji, can't wait. Please go ahead. Radhe Radhe.
I can't believe this. So what she sang, this is so much related to Maharaji's bhajan that I came across yesterday and I wanted to sing today. So I thought earlier maybe I will give it up for today, but I want to now sing it because it's relatable, so it will be nice.
Go ahead, sure.
Beautiful, beautiful.
It just
Nothing
divine
is a
attention, I
nothing is
feel.
a coincidence.
Yes. Okay. So yeah. So this is a beautiful folk song, Rasiya theme from Braj, when once a gopi was passing alone through a forest on her way to Vrindavan to sell dahi, and all of a sudden Shyam Sundar blocked her path. And then the following conversation took place between the gopi and Shyam Sundar. इकली घेरी बन में आई शाम तने कैसी ठानी रे, इकली घेरी बन में आई शाम तने कैसी ठानी रे, कैसी ठानी रे श्याम तने कैसी ठानी रे, इकली घेरी बन में आई श्याम तने कैसी ठानी रे, श्याम मोहे वृंदावन जानो, लौट के बरसाने आनो, मेरी कर जोर की मानो, जो मोए होय अबेर लड़ी घर सास जेठानी रे, हो इकली गिरी बन में आई श्याम तने कैसी ठानी रे. So meaning is written, but I'll quickly read. So basically, seeing the gopi alone in the forest, Shyamji blocked her path, and she's saying that I have to go to Vrindavan and then come back to Barsana. So I'm literally folding my hands. Please let me go. Please listen to me. If I'll be delayed, my in-laws will be furious with me. And then Shyam Sundar replies, ग्वालिनी मैं समझाऊं तो यह दान दधी को दूधे जामोय, नहीं टकरार बहुत सी होय, जो तू करे इनकार करो तेरी इच्छा तानी रे, हो इकली घेरी बन में आई श्याम तने कैसी ठानी रे. So yeah, so Shyam Sundar says, I've already explained to you Just give me some of your dahi. I will not trouble you anymore. However, if you refuse, then I will also be very, very forceful. Then the gopi replies, दान हम कब हुनाई दीनो, रोक मेरो मार्ग क्यों लीनो, बहुत ऊधम तूने कीनो, आज तलक या ब्रज में ऐसो भय नादानी रे, हो इकली घेरी बन में आई, शाम तने कैसी ठानी रे. So Gopi is also adamant, I will never give you any dahi. What is the use of blocking my path? You are creating a lot of mischief, and until today, no one in Braj has been so mischievous as you are being. She goes on to basically dhamkofy Krishna ji. She says, कंस राजा ते करूं पुकार, मुसक बंद वावे लगावे तो ही मार, तेरी ठकुराई दे अनिकार, ऐसी दे गो मार भूल जाए सब शैतानी रे, हो इकली इकली घेरी बन में आई, शाम तनी कैसी ठानी रे. So yeah, so basically she says, I will complain to King Kans. He will tie you up and beat you well. He will also remove all the pride within you. He will beat you such that you will forget all your mischief. And then finally, Shyam Sundar responds, कंस का खसम लागे तेरो, बुतिन का कहा करे मेरो, कऊ दिन मार करूं छेरो, कंस करूं निर्वंश मेट दऊं नाम निशानी रे, हो इकली घेरी बन में आई, शाम तने कैसी ठानी रे. Yeah, Shyam Sundar says, is Kans your husband? What will that piece of dirt do to me? Someday I will beat him and make him my servant. I will end his entire generation and remove all signs of his reign. So yeah, that was it. And sorry for my mistakes. I was pretty new to it. I just wanted to try it out.
Oh, that's beautiful. This is a new trend we are putting in, Maharajji's these bhajans along with the meaning and the slides. So it's taking it to the next level altogether. So let's loved it. Beautiful. And these leelas are good for Roop Dhyan as well, right? These are some of the very esoteric leelas you'll not come across otherwise, right? So thank you, Sandhya. And thank you, Diyashini, for bringing it. Loved it. Shyamji, you wanted to say real quick something and then we'll wrap up the session. I know it's late. Pallaviji always gets late. So
राधे राधे. I was thinking कि since आज संध्या ने और दयाशनी से ये जो भजन गाए, so I'm thinking of changing my plan of काम धंधे का. I am also going to bridge and selling dahi, and I'm sure he will come after me, and मैं तो दे दूंगा. All yours. Take dahi, take makhan, take me also. So this is a good one for me.
I'm sure Krishna will think twice messing up with you though. Okay, but it's a good idea.
Yes, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, thank you. Okay, Pallaviji, no more. I think we can wrap it up. And if you didn't get a chance tomorrow, again, we have a session. So I look forward to another engaging session tomorrow. And thank you everybody for all the beautiful devotional bhajans. Dayashini, Sandhya, Meenuji, starting with Meenuji, loved it, lived every bit of it. So
Yes.
thank you, Pallaviji, for
Yeah,
taking
thanks to you, Nitinji, for such another awesome session, like all the time, like amazing session. And thanks to all of you for your enthusiastic participation. Beautiful devotional segment, beautiful. So
Thank you,
you,
everybody.
all of you. Yeah.
Yes. And you certainly are taking our devotional segment a notch up. I can see that. So let's continue that good work. So thank you, everybody. Let's keep practicing more of leelas, and these are beautiful things to immerse yourself. Thank you. Radhe Radhe. Have a good day and a wonderful rest of your evening.
Thank you. Stay blessed, everyone. Radhe Radhe.
Bye.